Hey folks, winter is here, so not much flying going on for me, so I figured let's take a look at some of the book stuff, specifically weight and balance. I'm going to do a quick recap, and then we'll do an example from the written, but I'm going to assume that you guys have been exposed to this before, because there's just no way I can do a comprehensive course in a couple-minute long video. So if this is new to you, go talk to your CFI. Because as always, this is not a substitute for proper flight instruction. All right, let's go. So weight and balance is nothing to be afraid of. It's actually pretty simple. You're going to find your starting weight and moment in the POH for the plane. Then you get all the weights of all the things in the plane. The people, the bags, and the fuel. Now we're going to want to pay attention to where that stuff is in the plane, because like a weight on the end of a lever, it's going to affect the plane differently depending on how far away it is. So in aviation, the manufacturers of the aircraft assign a numerical value called the arm to all the places that all the things can be in the aircraft, like the front seat, the back seat, and the fuel tanks, and etc. So the weight of the item times the arm of where it's located equals the moment, or how many pound-inches of force the item is subjecting the aircraft to. So weight times arm equals moment. So once you have all your moments figured for all your stuff in the plane, add all the weights to the empty weight that you got earlier for your total weight, and add all your moments to the starting moment for your total moment. Then you compare them, the total weight and the total moment, to the values in the POH to see if you're within limits. Pretty simple. Okay, so let's try a question. I'll use an FAA test question, so if you're a student, you'll get some written prep out of this. But I also like this question because it's got some real-world applications as well for those of you who just want a quick refresher. So the question references manipulating the aircraft's weight to adjust the center of gravity to where it's within limits for takeoff. And they give you a few options: drain 12 gallons of fuel, drain 9 gallons of fuel, and transfer 12 gallons to the aux tanks. They also give you the weights from the front and rear seat passengers, as well as the fuel levels in the main tanks. So they've also provided us with a chart similar to something you'd find in your aircraft's POH. So the first step here is to find our empty weight, which is off to the left-hand side. We'll start out at 2,015 pounds with a moment of 1,554 pound-inches. Now don't forget, they've made the numbers easier to manage by moving the decimal up 2 places by dividing it by 100. So make sure that any numbers you plug in the future have that done as well. The FAA defines that reduced moment number as the moment index. So another thing to note is that even though the oil has its own spot on the chart here, you can see that the asterisk says that it's included in the basic empty weight. So it's already been included. Most aircraft certified after 1978 include the full capacity of the engine oil in this number as well, but it's worth taking a look at your plane's POH just to make sure. So next we'll figure out the moment for our fuel and passengers using the formula weight times arm equals moment. The 425 pounds in the front seat has an arm of 85 for a moment index of 361.3 pound-inches, while the 300 pounds in the rear seat has an arm of 121 for a moment index of 363.0 pound-inches. The fuel was given to us in gallons, so you can factor 6 pounds per gallon, or you can just look at the bottom of the chart on the middle right and read that 44 gallons equals 264 pounds with a moment index of 198. So we add up our weights and get a total of 3,004 pounds. Then we add up our moment index and we get 2,476.3 pound-inches. So now looking at our moment and weight limits chart, we can see at the bottom right that our maximum allowable takeoff weight is 2,950 pounds, which, according to our former figures, is less than what we weigh right now. So we subtract that 2,950 pounds from our current weight and find that we are 54 pounds over our maximum allowable takeoff weight. So our original totals were 3,004 pounds and a moment index of 2,476.3 pound-inches. So let's try taking that weight out of our fuel and see what happens. But before we do, make sure that you take into account everything that goes along with reducing your fuel in real-world scenarios. This explanation isn't going to cover those considerations. This is just an example to get you through the math on paper. So, 54 pounds or 9 gallons of fuel has a moment index of 40.5 pound-inches. So we subtract that from our totals and we are left with 2,950 pounds and 2,435.8 pound-inches. So, back at our moment/weight chart, we can see that our weight of 2,950 pounds is now within the acceptable limits, and the moment index of 2,435.8 pound-inches is within the minimum/maximum limits of 2,422 and 2,499 pound-inches. So, removing the 9 gallons worked.